Chicago, Chicago, that toddling town. Chicago, Chicago.
The birth of rave culture started in Chicago's black and gay club scene during the 80s.
A lifestyle in Britain, acid house was purely a dance music in Chicago, where it was invented by a small group of DJs and producers.
The true originator and godfather of acid music is Adonis, my partner. He's the guy that really started off with going under not only his own name Adonis, but also Jack Frost.
During that time, most clubs played house music. House music is hard disco. It goes boom, boom, boom with little variation, subtlety, melody, and instrumentation, explained in a November 1986 piece and spin about Chicago's fledgling house scene. The genre of 90s rave was truly born and developed during the late 80s to early 90s in the UK. In December 5th, 1987, a group of DJ friends, Paul Oakenford, Danny Rampling, Nick Holloway, and Johnny Walker hosted London's very first rave in a club called Shoom.
It's in some clubs you walk in and everybody sort of stands at the bar looking at each other and no one really, freaks out like that. Whereas in here, people walk in dancing.
It was an incredible year. In London, that's where the Summer of Love exploded, and it was a club that we was working at called Rip in Clink Street that functioned all through the summer of '88. It was pretty much Rip and the Shoom that were the two big acid house clubs. Shoom was very lightweight, kind of poppy, and Clink Street was very intense and quite dark, very, very heavy acid.
Like the sunshine, I need your loving. Like the sunshine.
Because of bad press, a number of reportedly drug-related incidents, and increasing law enforcement, raves went back underground. However, raves resurfaced in towns like Blackburn, which were devastated by these outdoor raves. The locals claimed that they were destroying the lives of hundreds, if not thousands, of decent law-abiding citizens.
Morton Common for a free music festival over the bank holiday. Tonight, the Home Office said they expected a report from the Chief Constable on lessons to be learned from the weekend's events.
At the height of the festival, an estimated 20,000 people had converged on CastleMorton Common at the foot of the Morven Hills. Variously described as New Age travellers, hippies and rave-goers, they were, in reality, a motley bunch of predominantly young people from all walks of life, drawn together by the promise of free music. Today, a steady stream of people have been leaving the site, but up to 10,000 are expected to stay until the end of the week, much to the disgust of local residents. Farmers say the travellers' dogs have caused havoc.
The hierarchy in this are at fault for putting them up there, and I was personally told on Welland Crossroads on Saturday morning that I was not to shoot dogs that worried sheep because he wanted a low profile.
Tell you what, I live there, they're making my life hell, but I've been told not to antagonise them.
That's right.
In the UK, the 1994 Criminal Justice Act was passed, which made raving virtually illegal, notably in the restriction and reduction of existing rights and in greater penalties for certain antisocial behaviors. A main motivation was to restrict outdoor rave parties, in particular in reaction to the 1992 Morton Common Festival.
Here, the Battle of Park Lane. Thousands of demonstrators protesting about the Criminal Justice Bill have fought running battles with police in central London. the government's criminal justice bill has ended in a riot in central London. Demonstrators threw missiles and CS gas at the police, and a bus stand was demolished when some protesters refused to disperse. There were 26 arrests, and 25 people were injured, including 8 police officers. Tens of thousands had earlier taken part in a peaceful march and rally organised by civil rights campaigners. Among the bill's most controversial proposals are measures which would change a suspect's right to silence. A new offence of aggravated trespass would give police new powers over raves and New Age travellers and criminalise the activities of campaigners against blood sports.
After the breakup of the demonstration, thousands of young people stayed behind, dancing and playing music. In Hyde Park, they were told to move, and confrontation with the police quickly followed. The worst violence was in Park Lane. Young people crowded behind the park railings, threw rocks, bottles and sticks at the police, who charged dozens of times. A number of people were arrested and several were hurt. This went on for more than 2 hours. As the light faded, more police were brought in, more missiles were hurled, and there were more charges. Eventually, the police pulled back. They waited, listening to the taunts of the crowd.
When it was shown in movies and TV, raves were depicted as drug-filled, sex-filled nights of ecstasy.
The weekend has landed. All that exists now is clubs, pubs and parties. I'm going to Never Neverland with my chosen family, man.
I'm having the best time being off my pickle and feeling the music.
This is Cocaine speaking. I can make you do anything for me.
Drugs were a big part of rave culture. Acid, MDMA, 2CB, also known as Nexus, and inhalants such as nitrous oxide and poppers, to stimulants such as amphetamine and cocaine, depressants and sedatives like Quaaludes, and psychedelics and hallucinogenic drugs like LSD and DMT. Raves are still popular, but not in the underground scene as much. Once something is launched into pop culture, the underground scene kinda just throws it away.